Back here in College Park. As we're entering the first quarter, it took us some technical difficulties, and that's the same issue for Maryland right now as it's 15-8 for Georgetown, but here's a three outside. There it looks like that one's shot by Watts, and that's off the mark. Here's an offensive foul going against number 5, K.J. Lewis for Georgetown. This one should be in Maryland's favor, and the crowd here is hyped.
So 15-8 for Georgetown, as you said, 15-6 as you said, and 12:24 to go here in the first half. You're just joining us. And
looks like we're just kind of waiting like everybody else in the stadium for play to get back up. Head coach Ed Cooley is absolutely frustrated with that last call, but this one's going in Maryland's favor, down by 9.
So Maryland now, as you said, chance to bring the ball up, and the drive here into the lane. Foul called. It'll be Rice shooting 2. And the foul go against Abraham.
As Miles Rice fouled on that last offensive stance, and now he's going to the line for 2.
So Rice, the first one, good.
Rice is an 81% free throw shooter so far this season. The redshirt junior out of South Carolina, trying to go 2 for 2 from the stripe. Rice will. What a way to get himself on the board tonight for Maryland. Here's Rice. And Adams working back and forth on defense, top of the key. Here's a shot from Williams. That one's off the mark, but there's a foul on the floor. Looks like it's against Maryland.
Yeah, so timeout on the floor, and for Maryland, a chance to just try and continue to reset. They've gotten themselves back into this one more, but still down 7, 15-8. 11:53 to go here in the first half. The foul goes against Mills for his first. It'll be Maryland's 4th as a team, and for Georgetown making solid progress towards the bonus. So, we'll be back with you in a minute here on WMBC Sports, your Terps, your station. So welcome back to the Xfinity Center, where Maryland trails 15-8 to Georgetown. 11:53 to go here in the first half, and it's been a game that
in College Park.
the Hoyas started off extremely strong. And
now some technical difficulties, and it's the same issue for Maryland right now. It's 15-8 for Georgetown, but here's a three outside.
For Maryland.
It looks like
the opportunity.
That one's shot by Watts, and that's off the mark.
Try and cut and
here's an offensive foul going against.
And so for Maryland, Saunders, Adams kicks it out, driving into the lane, and Mills tripped up. That'll be a foul. So Maryland down 17-8, chance to cut the Hoyas lead 7. They can get a bucket at the end of this possession, but at least the 2 shots. So Mills is first coming here. Drains it. And cuts the deficit to 17-9. Both teams have been a bit offensively cold since the Hoyas' hot start. Mills, second free throw, rims out, and that'll be grabbed by the Hoyas. So for Georgetown now, a chance to push the pace past half court. They'll slow up. And Malik Mack handling the ball. Caleb Williams passes it off. Jeremiah Williams now. Right of center, outside the arc, 8 on the shot clock. Mack, right of center, outside the arc for 3, contested, rims out. The rebound grabbed by Farrell Payne, and now opportunity for the Terps to go fast. Ultimately, ball lost out of play. And Georgetown can come back the other way, and now the Hoyas go quickly in transition. Williams to Mack, outside the arc, driving. Mack goes up and lays it up and in. 19-8 for Georgetown. 10:35 on the clock. A great song, but not a great timestamp for Maryland right now as they find themselves down by 10. So Adams attacking to Maryland's left, outside the arc. Maryland in the yellow with red numbers. Georgetown in black with white numbers. Gray camo trim. So 10:21 on the clock. I mean, James, Maryland still find themselves down by double digits here. What the Terps
just have not been able to get anything sparked offensively, Dash. Most of their points are coming from the free throw line, so they really need to have somebody step up and do something.
And here's Mills outside the arc, and as you said, James, they need somebody to step up as Mills now drives in. He's drawn another foul, but to your point, Maryland is 0 for 4 their last field goals and doesn't have a single field goal in the last 5 minutes and 50 seconds of gameplay.
And I think the approach is just trying to attack the basket, just like Mills just did. We need to get guys more incorporated. I haven't seen much from Darius Adams tonight. Really need him to be attacking. Payne is the guy with 4 points, and they have guys with points off the bench. Colt has been struggling from outside.
Yeah, Diggy Coy 0 for 4 so far as Mills' first free throw on the way here. Drains it. So 19-10 and 10:15 on the clock here in the first half. Maryland shooting 11% from the field, 1 for 9. Mills' second free throw, rims out, and Williams grabs the rebound. Caleb Williams to be exact. Now Mack, Love, back to Mack. Mack just left of center, outside the arc. Here's Williams. 17 on the shot clock. Williams, and now down low, and the dunk is going to be missed right there by Iwachukwu.
That looked like a block at the rim, Dash.
So Adams coming the other way as trying to capitalize on Maryland's great defensive play. Lost the ball for a second, but now he's got it back. A highly rated freshman, Diggy Coit now outside of the arc. Back to Payne. Payne finds Coit. Outside the arc on the left to Payne down low. Payne driving against Iwachukwu. Down low to Saunders, and he's got the floater. 19-12. 9:26 on the clock here in the first half, and Maryland's crowd getting into it.
And that's Saunders' first attempt of the game there, and he puts it in. So it's going to be a game where Terps are trying to figure out who's their scorer, who are their guys. This is their first big match of the year, and it's come in their second game. So this is a fresh new lineup for the Terps since last year, since the departure of Kevin Willard. So a lot of figuring out to do.
Yeah, a lot of figuring out to do. Now for three, Love couldn't get it to go, and eventually Saunders grabs the rebound. Crowd approves as Adams brings the ball across half court to his left. Adams driving. He lays it up and in. 19-14, and Maryland now with a mini run. Timeout on the floor. 8:45 to go in the first half, and Maryland picking up momentum here at the Xfinity Center. We'll be back in a second on WMUC Sports, your Terps, your station. Maryland trailing 19-14. Alifanua, Williams, and he gets it to go in the paint. 21-14, 8:31 on the clock, and Diggy Coit bringing the ball up for Maryland. Coit. Now Terps with Adams, left to center. Adams pulls up, and his jumper won't go. Mulready. Mack. And Coy is trying to work it through Harris Smith, getting booed, but he gets the shot to go in the paint. 23-14. So 23-14, Georgetown leads, 7:56 to go on the clock. Adams kicks it out. So Coit now, left the middle of the court, outside the arc. Coit still outside the arc, kicks it off to Adams. 4 on the shot clock for 3. That's offline. Rebound. Look like two Terps got each other's way right there. Mills and Turkson. And got Jack Zwirn with an update for you.
Yeah, thank you, Dash. The Georgetown fouling has really kept the Terps in this game, as the Terrapin offense has not really been able to get going until the last couple minutes. Ball security has been an issue. There's been many instances of players losing the ball in the paint, trying to make a play. That'll be a key thing that Buzz Williams is going to have to focus on improving as this game goes on. Buzz on the sideline, he's been waving hang 10, trying to get play calls out to the Terps offense, but obviously it hasn't really come through quite yet as the Terps are down 9. Back to you, Dash.
Thank you, Jack. And so as we're in the timeout, obviously things not quite working yet for Maryland, as Jack said. And James, Jack talked about how the free throws really keeping Maryland in this game. They're 8 for 10, Georgetown 3 for 3. Other than that, Maryland 3 for 13 for field goals.
Yeah, and even with the contact, Georgetown has been able to absorb it. I think part of that free throw differential is that we saw right off the start of the game was an and one. So they're getting less free throws, sure, but they're also making their buckets. And I don't know if these are pity fouls going in favor of Maryland when they're attacking, but it's the progression of them and how they're attacking. Georgetown's been able to do a lot from outside scoring and a lot of deeper shots. They're still 3-0 6 from three-point range, Georgetown is, so that's what's keeping these Terps within distance, but they're really going to have to pick up in this last 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's remarkable to note there has not been a three-pointer that has gone in this game. Both teams combined 0 for 13 from outside the arc, and I mean, you can say it's a testament to both their perimeter defense, but also the shooting's got to improve at some point.
You got that exactly right. I mean, just for Maryland alone, it's sort of been twos across the board. Farrell Payne is the only one with more than 2 points for this squad. Now Miles Rice has 4 as well off that last bucket he was able to get, but so far the Terps really looking to build something, and this game started off pretty scary for Maryland. I believe it was an 11-0 run to start off things. So in case you weren't here to start, by the way, this is the first matchup in over a decade between these two programs, and it's actually the first of the next 4 annually. They're going to have a matchup in the next 4 years. So this is, get your popcorn ready, because Georgetown and Maryland will be a household matchup for the next couple of years. And I'm James Consoli alongside Dash Tischler. Apologies for any of the inconveniences if you're tuning into this broadcast. Just had some technical difficulties. It is our first at-home men's basketball game of the season, so we're just trying to get things ironed out here.
Certainly been an interesting start to this one, and you talked about, James, a matchup to watch for the next couple of years. I mean, these are two teams where they're going to be thinking they'll be much better in a couple of years as well. So, seconds away from returning, and as we look at how this game has gone so far, what's going to be the key here to the next few minutes?
Yeah, it's a correction there. It was the second matchup because of Coppin State coming in here to face off against the Terps, but in terms of Georgetown, the first matchup between these two teams in a while. And the fans are popping. It's loud in Xfinity. Don't believe it's fully sold out, but in terms of the fans and student sections, you'd be struggling to get a ticket. The student section's sold out as of almost a week ago. So
certainly many fans here for the Gold Rush. So Georgetown getting us back underway. 7:24 to go in the first half. Malik Mack. And for Georgetown, Harris Smith kicks it out. For 3, Halaifanua misses it. So an air ball, and the rebound was by Del Pino, as Adams now bringing the ball up court, across half court. Adams defended by Harris Smith, the former Terp. Highly rated recruit. Didn't quite go the way he wanted it here, but definitely unfairly maligned by the fans. Been getting booed all night. Seems a bit harsh to me. Coit outside the arc. Driving at the edge of the paint. Now back out to Adams. 2 on the shot clock. Adams in the paint. Down low for the pass, and it's a shot clock violation. So Georgetown just stifling the Terps from getting the shot off right there, and just like that, they've got the ball back. 23-14 for the Hoyas. 6:41 on the clock here in the first half.
strong defensive stance by Ed Cooley and his crew there, but they were hype on the sidelines to get that shot clock expiration, the first of Maryland so far. That's going to be a backcourt violation.
So Lewis just lost control there. It looked like he slipped a little bit.
That one's on the Hoyas. Dash as just crossing half court, and then it looks like that ball may have poked himself in the eye trying to catch it or something, but he was not able to stay within the game after that. Oh yeah, he gets elbowed in his head by his own player there, is Caleb Williams, not to be confused for the Bears quarterback.
Yeah, both DC natives. This Caleb Williams went to Sidwell as opposed to Gonzaga.
And the Terps still vying to get a comeback, down by 9 right now. It's 6 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, it feels almost like the game that hasn't quite gotten into it for the crowd. I mean, the crowd has been active and loud, but no real signs of panic, but also feeling that they're not fully settled. The team doesn't look fully settled. And now Miles Rice back in the game. We have two players with Farrell Payne who gives the ball back to him now, and Rice driving just outside the paint, kicks it out for 3. Watts. That won't go, and a foul on the floor. We'll see who it's against.
I believe that was Farrell Payne who went up for that ball, and it's either going to be a foul on, looks like it's going to be on number 11, Julius Halafania, starting center for this squad. So it looks like Farrell Payne will be headed for his 3rd trip to the line.
Yeah, Halaifanua, the guilty party, and so here comes Payne. For Georgetown, there's something to complain about this first half. They've not been nearly disciplined enough. As Payne drains the first free throw. Score moves to 23-15, counts at 6:16 on the clock. So
Like already with 9 fouls, Georgetown is. It's 1-1 for Maryland.
And Payne drains the second. 23-16 now. And for the Hoyas. Now Williams outside the arc. Here on Georgetown's left, this near side for us. Lewis finds Mack, moving back to the right, the far side. Mack, 10 on the shot clock. Unclear what the idea was there, and ultimately unclear if it was a shot or a pass off the backboard, and here comes Rice. Rice running to the baseline, kicks it out. They'll get the ball back from Watts. Rice. Payne in the paint, and Payne goes up, but he's fouled again. See if it's Halaifanua or potentially it's Williams instead. And regardless, Payne's got 2 more free throws for the Terps.
It's interesting they got Williams for a reach in there when Halifania was absorbing most of the contact there. And I think he was playing Payne's hands more than Williams was, but I think they docked Williams for that.
So Payne's first free throw drains it. 23-17 now, and worth noting that Williams is now up to 3 fouls. So second, Payne gets that to go 2, and it's a 5-point ball game. 5:37 to go here in the first half. Malik Mack, crowd's starting to get into this. Maryland on a mini run, despite having no field goals in the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Georgetown, meanwhile, has a 2-minute and 27-second scoring drought. And here's Mack just beyond the logo in the center of the court. And now Halaifanua. Now back to Mack. Mack driving to left of the key, loses the ball. And it's going to be Maryland ball. Coit up ahead. Watts. Watts for the dunk. He's blocked. Georgetown gets the rebound. It was a critical rejection from Fort. And now Mack driving at the other end. In the paint, goes up and draws a foul.
That one looks like it's going to go against Maryland's Elijah Saunders, transferred from Virginia this year. Saunders with a strong performance last game versus Coppin State, 14 points for him, 3 rebounds. But Saunders finding himself with 2 fouls early on.
Yeah, so not ideal for him, but for the Terps, first player with 2 fouls, and Maryland's done a good job playing clean. So Malik Mack, his first free throw coming here. Maryland trailing 23-18, 5 minutes and a second on the clock. Mack drains the first, make that 24-18. And Mack now up to 5 points in the day. For Georgetown, it's been a balanced attack. 5 points for Mack, 4 for Lewis, Williams, and Abraham.
But Dash, I don't think our audience fully grasps the situation Maryland was in, down by 11 to start this game off. They've come back within a 6-point scoring margin with Georgetown at the line right now, makes it 7. But it was a scary sight, I think, for everybody in the building here if you're in that yellow and red. But
yeah, I mean, within a minute, they'd already given up a dangerous turnover. We're down by a few points, and it felt like maybe Georgetown's going to run them out of the gym. Maryland's staunched the bleeding a bit, but still doesn't quite feel like they're breathing down Georgetown's neck yet. In the far corner, Payne now trying to drive into the paint, kicks it out. Rice for 3, won't go. Rebound grabbed by the Hoyas, and Fort looks like he was fouled, and he was. So good board for Fort, and for Maryland, now 0 for 9 from 3. Georgetown 0 for 7. I mean, we have not seen anybody have any success from outside the arc.
no, definitely no booms we've heard in the crowd tonight. No big threes. Both these teams almost 0 for double digits from threes, just struggled. And I think that's what's part of that crowd entertainment that you're talking about, Dash, and trying to build some momentum. Neither squad, a lot of this scoring has been, Georgetown driving to the racks and taking it up. But Maryland, a lot of these points have come from the line so far for the Terps. 12 points. 12 of their 18 points are from the free throw line.
It's worth noting we haven't had a field goal in the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Georgetown shooting 43%, but Maryland just 19 as Iwuchukwu has Mack in the center of the court, 60 on the shot clock. Mack driving, nearly lost it to Rice, got it back. Mack left to the center, and the crowd wants to travel. Here's Lewis, he's lost the ball. We'll see which way it's called. It's a turnover out of bounds.
And that last play, obviously crowd demanding a travel, but strong defense there. It's Darius Adams on the coverage. Down low on the baseline there, able to get that one off of, looked like KJ Lewis's leg.
Yeah, so Adams now on the right. Here's Payne. Payne moving in towards the paint, trying to turn. Well defended, and the ball wedged between the rim and the backboard.
Yeah, we don't see that very often, Dash. I don't know what they can do if they oil up the rims of the hoops or not, but that one is an unfortunate reality for the Terps. That one's going to go Georgetown's way as they have a 7-point lead here with a little less than 4 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, so we'll take you to a break. 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go here in the first half. Maryland down 25-18 against Georgetown on WC Sports. So welcome back to myself, Dash Tischler, alongside me, James Consoli. We've got a sideline report from Jack Zwirn.
Thank you, Dash. It's been a continuing story of the Terps getting their points off the free throw. 12 of their 18 points. Yes, you heard me right. 12 have come off of the free throw. The Terps have yet to make a 3-point shot. It's been a very large amount of struggling from this Terps offense thus far, but Georgetown hasn't really been able to capitalize quite yet, as they still don't have that big of a lead. There's been a lot of a range of emotions coming off of Buzz Williams, off these transitions that go back and forth, not going the Terps' way. It's just been a frustrating start for the Terps. Georgetown haven't been able to capitalize quite yet, Dash.
Thanks, Jack. And yeah, you talk about it. Very frustrating for Maryland. They've not been able to get scored from the floor, but for Georgetown, they've not been able to pull away. Up 25-18 with 3:50 to go in the first half. And James, how are you feeling if you're these two coaching staffs?
I feel all right if I'm in Georgetown's seat. They've played very strong defensively, haven't given up any easy buckets. Coverage on the perimeter has been stoic. And then attacking-wise, they haven't had many struggles. Just over the last couple minutes, haven't really been able to brew anything. If I'm Georgetown, I want to keep this lead. But for Maryland, they offensively have gotten to the line pretty well, but really early struggles in terms of trying to attack the rim, and shooting outside for both squads has been abysmal.
Yeah, it really has been. Both teams have combined 0 for 16 from 3. And that's been the story of the day, arguably, for why Georgetown has not been able to pull away. Because at the moment, every other category, the Hoyas have the edge, except for free throws, where Maryland has done a great job converting. But as things stand, 7-point Hoya lead. Some interesting stats to note. Georgetown outscoring Maryland 18-6 in points in the paint. And that just really shows you how, for Maryland, the offense has not gotten going. They're shooting 18% from the floor, 3 for 17. So, those free throws right now, what's keeping them in it? As we have said ad nauseum. But now a chance to get some more momentum as Diggy Coit will inbound. 20 seconds of the clock. Ball wedged between the rim, the last shot, and possession arrow went to the Terps. Here's Miles Rice outside the arc. On the right. Rice finds Adams to his left. Adams still outside the arc. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Adams gonna have to find something. Here's Coit for 3. He's got it! The first 3 of the game, and it's 25-21. 3:27 on the clock, and it took us a while, but we've got a stroke from beyond the arc.
And Dash, I think that's what brings this environment to life in College Park at the Xfinity Center, gets these fans going, like we talked about, first 3 of the night.
And now Lewis kicks out to Mack for another 3. That's airballed. Rebound loose on the floor, and now there's a tie-up. Possession arrow will go the way of the Hoyas.
Head coach Buzz Williams for the Terps is fired up, bringing his team within 4. It's a lot better than that 11-0 start from the Hoyas.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, that start looked disastrous for Maryland, and for the most part today has not been a good performance, at least offensively. But defensively, the Terps have held their own. They've taken the chances Georgetown has given them, and now they find themselves in this one. So 3 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the first half, and Maryland about to inbound.
That was Miles Rice who got to that ball first, but it was tied up quickly, went for a jump ball.
And Mack, we'll see what the call is here. As he got that one to go, they say no basket.
And it was a quick little lob to the rim and a touch tap there.
Coit fouled him, and so
there's Mack on the shot, and so he's going to the line.
So Georgetown now also be in the bonus. There's 7 fouls for the Terps. Mack, his first, good to go, and Georgetown goes back up by 5. 26-21, 3:08 to go here in the first half.
Now as well, Dash, I believe that Maryland and Georgetown are both in the bonus, so they'll be 1-1 at the line.
They both are. Maryland actually in the double bonus now. So 26-21, Mack's second, drains that as well. Boys go back up by 6. And
looks like we're going to see some subs here.
Langston Love entering for Georgetown.
George Turkson coming in for the Terps.
So Coit takes the inbound across the M logo at the center court. Now he's got open Turkson for 3, and Turkson, that's a bit high. Looked like Adams is sure is getting pulled, and it was. He's drawn the foul. Grabbed the rebound, too.
And for Adams, too, a scary sight for Maryland earlier this year. Hand surgery this summer, but he was able to come back for the first game. So it's a really good sign for the Terps. And, the starter for Maryland, their guard, point guard.
Yeah.
And so big Buzz fan, and that's what brought him to this school.
Yeah, Adams, a Manchester, New Jersey native. Very high rated recruit. Was a consensus top 30 prospect. Down 27-21. His first shot will miss. 2:55 on the clock. Adams was a 2025 McDonald's All-American.
These are Adams' first free throws of the night.
So the second one on the way here. And this time it'll be good to go. 27-22 the score. 2:55 on the clock. Mack just had a bit of an issue corralling the ball. Now driving outside the arc. Georgetown can pick up a little bit more momentum. Just feels like Maryland's got a bit more of it at the moment. Mack down low towards Iwuchukwu. And that's gone out of play. Stays with the Hoyas though.
It's like a big block there from Farrell Payne. Moves that ball away from the hoop. And Maryland's starting to build momentum. Looks like Andre Mills is going to come in for the Terps.
Yeah, Mills re-entering the game.
Looks like Diggy Coit coming out.
So, Lewis to inbound. 11 on the shot clock, 2:37 on the game clock here in the first half. Maryland down 27-22. Looking to get a stop. Lewis. He's got Mack. Mack, 11 on the shot clock, finds Lewis. Driving into the paint. The jumper won't go. A follow-up attempt, and it was going for the dunk, but there's going to be some sort of foul called on the play.
Yeah, so that's obstruction against the hoop there. You can't touch the ball if it's over top of the rim. It has to be coming off the rim first, or they're going to call that. And so this one's going to be Maryland's ball.
So Rice, Georgetown pressing a bit here. And Coit finds Adams in the left. Rice through the middle. Rice, Adams, and Coit all able to be primary ball handlers, and Rice now finding Payne.
Yeah, it's a basket interference is that last call.
Adams out to Rice. Rice driving, kicks it out towards Turkson. Turkson defended and blocked. Ball's loose, and here come the Hoyas. Mack driving to the paint. To the rim, that won't go. Rebound. Ultimately comes back to Georgetown, and that'll be saved by Lewis. Good work by him under a bit off balance. It's Iwuchukwu driving, and the layup won't go, but there's going to be a foul. Buzz Williams not happy, threw his water bottle in the air.
Not only did that fly through the air, but looks like Miles Rice's shoe flew through the court when he was trying to guard that strong take there from Ichukuo.
Yeah. The hectic time in this game now. So 1:48 on the clock here in the first half. Maryland down 27-22. Georgetown at the line with Iwuchukwu. Iwuchukwu, formerly of St. John's and USC, and his first free throw is good. Nice stroke.
One of 2 7-footers on this Hoyas squad.
Yeah, they certainly have a size advantage on Maryland. Now, of course, with Payne, but he and Saunders really the only truly big men on this team at the moment who are available. There's Solomon Washington. Alston as well, fairly large, but nobody in the realm of 7 foot. So 28-22, 1:48 to go here in the first half. Iwuchukwu second, bounces, and Miles Rice grabs the rebound. So 1:42 to go. Maryland with a chance to cut the deficit back to within 5. Rice. Well defended here. He's still got the ball to his right. Now here's Adams. Back to Rice. Rice outside the arc on the right side. Looking for a pass. Finds Payne. 3 on the shot clock. Kicks it out. Mills. Mills for 3. That's not going to go. And the rebound grabbed by Lewis. Lewis bringing the ball up court. Past half court. Now to Georgetown's right. Here's Harris Smith. Booed loudly again. Mulready. Mulready at the edge of the M. Lewis outside the arc here on this near side. Georgetown's left. Has Mulready looking for it. And Lewis has the ball poked out of his hands. See which way it goes. It's just going to stay with the Hoyas. So 57 seconds to go here in the first half. Georgetown 28-22 on Maryland. And yeah, Coach poked it out, but ball will stay with the Hoyas. So Harris Smith down low, and Iwuchukwu fouled on the floor. That'll send him to the line as they're in the bonus, and 1-on-1 coming. So 56.5 seconds on the clock. Maryland down 28-22. Rice with the foul. That's his first. Maryland up to 19 fouls. And James, those free throw numbers are starting to even out a little bit.
Yeah, they are starting to even out between these two squads. Maryland 13 of 16 from the line, and Georgetown 8 of 9. So Maryland still has double the attempts at the stripe, though.
Yeah, Iwuchukwu drains that. It's a good stroke for a big man.
Georgetown going to be the first to 30 points tonight if Iwuchukwu can knock this one in.
29-22, the Hoyas are up. And he does drain it, 30-22 Georgetown now. So 56.5 seconds to go. At least a couple possessions left in this first half, but Maryland will want to see if they can get some sort of spark to close it out. Rice. Well defended here, and Rice driving into the lane. Gets the shot, and he draws the foul. And here's a stat for you. Georgetown has no field goals in the last 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Yet Maryland trails by 8. So Rice looking to cut that deficit. Heads to the line with 44.7 seconds to go on the clock.
Miles Rice, shooting 2.
The strangest part about it, as Rice's first shot is good, is that Georgetown's barely had any field goals in that time either. Really only a couple of attempts over the last 7 minutes or so. So Rice's second coming here. And he cuts the deficit to 30-24. 44.7 seconds to go. Here's Malik Mack. Mack at Georgetown's right, cross half court, and now just inside the arc. Finds Iwuchukwu in the paint. Shot rims around and won't go, but he's drawn the foul. So, yet more free throws. And Worth noting as well that Georgetown's had their drought. Maryland is 1 for its last 10 from the field. Terps still just 4 for 21. First free throw. Good to go from Iwuchukwu. And Iwuchukwu making a living on the line now. 4 for 5 as he stretches the lead to 31-24. Isaiah Abraham checking back in. And Iwuchukwu's second coming here. Good to go. 32-24, Georgetown leads. 36.2 seconds on the clock. Maryland can't hold for the last shot, but James, if you're them, do you try to take a long time on this possession?
It's tough because they have either a choice where they rush it and they see if they can reset the shot clock, or they dribble this one out. I think they're going to dribble this one out and take it down to a little more than 5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Rice taking his time here, defended by Deshaun Harris-Smith, the former Terp. Now he's got Payne. Payne to Adams to his left. Adams. Now here's Rice again. 5 seconds to the shot clock for 3. Drains it! 32-27 and 3 seconds to go here. The shot from Lewis to respond. Doesn't miss by much, but we head to the half, and Maryland's cut the deficit to 5. 32-27, the Hoyas lead in what's been a bit of a defensive slugfest.
That's exactly right, especially over the last couple minutes. Wasn't a lot of scoring, but that first 10 minutes for the Hoyas was pretty explosive. Dash started off an 11-0 run, and then they were up by 10, double digits, 18-8 on these Terps. So Maryland able to battle back and keep it within 5. I think that's an accomplishment for the Terps headed into the half.
It sure is, especially when you consider how they've been shooting. Maryland 5 for 22 from the floor, being outshot by 17% by Georgetown. Really, free throws have kept them alive in this game. But the Terps, for all their struggles, are very much in this, and you're going to feel the momentum might be starting to swing their way. We'll be back in a bit here on WC Sports, your Terps, your station, with James Consoli taking over on play-by-play. And
awesome.
Myself, Dash Tischler, alongside James Consoli. We'll see you in a minute.
Welcome back to the Xfinity Center, second home game of the season for the Maryland Terrapins. The visiting Georgetown Hoyas up by 5 at the half. We are about 2 minutes back from tip-off, and let's look at how these two teams scored the points coming back, right? Georgetown shooting 40% field goals, have taken just a few more than Maryland, but have made double from the floor. In terms of free throws, Maryland has earned most of their points from the stripe. 15 of their 27 points are coming from the free throw line. But threes tonight, Maryland has 2 of those. Georgetown with a donut posted on the board. Leading Maryland in scoring is Darius Adams. And so, I wanted to talk a little bit about Miles Rice. 9 points for Rice tonight, and I have Jack Zwirn on the sidelines. And Jack, can you give us an update on Rice?
Yeah, James, Miles Rice is not one to give up. After being diagnosed with cancer back in 2022, forcing him to miss the season, Rice has come back strong, averaging 12.4 points per game for Washington and Indiana in the 2 seasons since. Maryland head coach Buzz Williams played a key role in Rice's commitment to Maryland, as Rice was on track to play at Texas A&M under Williams before Williams took the job here in Terpsville, and Rice followed suit. With his three-pointer to cut the Hoya lead to 5 at the end of the half, Rice actually reached a career milestone of 850 career points, a big night for Rice. On the flip side, for the Hoyas, Vince Iwuchukwu reached a milestone of his own. He made it to 350 career points, and he leads the Hoyas with 7 in the game. You mentioned the struggles from threes on both sides of the ball. It was a struggle for both sides, and it's crazy how bad it's been, honestly. Maryland went 7 of 19 from downtown on Monday against Coppin State. Georgetown didn't fare any better, shooting 7 of 18 from 3 against Morgan State again on Monday. Both teams having the same amount of time in between their games to try and fix these issues, but neither side has seemingly found the answer. Back to you, James.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. And yeah, tonight so far, 3 field goals from three-pointer. Georgetown is 0 for 8. And in terms of for the Terps, they are 2 for 13. So struggles on both sides of the court. Dash, what did you see from the first half that you're looking to see from both squads to fix?
I saw 2 teams who really struggled on the offensive end. I mean, in a way, it feels lucky that Maryland's in this one. In a way, it feels like a testament that Georgetown struggles, but they're not up big. I mean, Maryland shot 5 for 22 from the floor. Georgetown had their massive field goal drought. Both teams did not look like they could do a lot to put the other one away or get themselves back into it.
So what's interesting right now, looks like Miles Rice is going to be wearing 54. Darius Adams is coming out with number 54 instead of number 1. Not sure what happened there. The jersey must have ripped or something at the half, but for Adams, he's dressed in 54, which looks more like a linebacker number than it is. And so now we are set and forth. Same starters that began this game. Up top, it's Isaiah Abraham. Now we're just working the ball around. KJ Lewis. Here's Malik Mack. Here's Mack, working it back down to Lewis. Working the baseline is Lewis. Lewis blocked. Farrell Payne in transition now, Maryland. David Coit. Here's Miles Rice, going to take it up and under. Rice just off the mark there. Rebounded Payne. Payne brings it back up. Blocked at the rim there from the Hoyas. Rebound there from Williams in transition now is Mack. Mack pulls up for a 3. Got it! The first of the night for the Hoyas, just coming out of the second half.
Yeah, they needed that. I felt like Maryland had some momentum going into the break and with the quick block, but now Georgetown has it back.
Now Maryland with a big response. Here's Coit from deep. Just off the front rim there. Rebounded from KJ Lewis in transition. Lewis taking on just Rice to beat. Lewis kicks it out to Malik Mack. Malik Mack for the second 3. The Hoyas come out hot to start the second.
That's right for Maryland. Coit needed to hit that 3 before. It's wide open, and now you've got a swing, and Georgetown the chance to start the second the way they started the first.
And that they have with 11-point margin like they started the game with. Here's Miles Rice up top. Rice looking to take Lewis on an ISO. Rice dribbling, doubled here, finds Payne inside. Payne fouled at the rim. And Payne had no troubles getting to the free throw line. Tied for first in the first half. He had 6 of 6 free throws. Now he's going to try and go 8 for 8. How about that start to the second half, Dash?
Yeah, I mean, definitely hectic, but it's worth noting right now, Halaifanua just picked up his 3rd foul as Payne will knock down the first free throw. And with that, Georgetown now has arguably their 2 best front court players, and Williams and Halaifanua both on 3 fouls.
Halaifanua with 7-footer, and you mentioned those 3 fouls, that'll be big. As Farrell Payne able to knock both those free throws through, stay 8 for 8 on the night from the big man. And just getting it across half court is the Hoyas. Getting touches from everyone. Caleb Williams, KJ Lewis, Malik Mack. Mack up top with it. Here's Caleb Williams. Now KJ Lewis. Gonna find Mack again on the wing. Mack from way downtown. A 3, he's gonna pull up. Feeling hot. That one in and out. Rebound from Adams. Maryland looking to transition now. Adams wearing 54 instead of 1. Here's Elijah Saunders. Now kicks it off to Miles Rice, who's going to try and go baseline. This one fouled. Looks like it's going to stay on the floor, but stay in Maryland's possession.
Yeah, and worth noting that, again, Georgetown's starting to rack up some early issues with fouls here. And at this point in the game, they don't want a repeat of that from the first half because that was what allowed Maryland to hang around when things got tough.
An inbound here from Rice finds Adams. Adams with a screen from Payne. Adams going to pull up around the free throw line. This one off right. Rebound here from Caleb Williams, who falls to the floor, but able to kick the ball off to Malik Mack just across half court. Williams back up, crosses half court, following Mack.
He might have done something to his ankle. He's moving a little bit gimpily.
Here's Mack. He gets it off to KJ Lewis, who's going to try and take it up. This time kicks it out, and a foul called. That one looks like it may be against Farrell Payne from Maryland. And Farrell Payne caught with a... Yeah, it's going to be on Payne. Farrell Payne with the foul there as this one goes up. There's Halifania goes up, misses it. Rebound there from Williams. Rebound Malik Mack. Maryland cannot get the defensive rebound. A dart inside from Mack to Halifania is going to go out for Maryland's ball. And as they try and build something, Dash, coming out of this half.
Yeah, it just so far hasn't quite gotten going for them. I mean, already Georgetown's had a couple of threes. Maryland's had a couple scores of their own, but not really able to cut in to that 5-point deficit and really turn this game into a toss-up. It's now stretched instead.
And Miles Rice going to get the rolled ball. Crosses half court with it. Here's Rice, the transfer from Indiana this year. Rice is going to drive in, picks up his dribble, turns it over. Here's KJ Lewis going in the other direction. KJ Lewis with a finger roll in off the fast break. Brings Georgetown to 40 points. Up by 11 are the Hoyas. And bringing up the court is number 11. And this will be our first timeout of the second half. Maryland back at an 11-point. Down 11. As we will head into our first break of the half. Georgetown, 2 big threes to start off the second half and have been rolling ever since. Alongside Dash Tischler, I'm James Consoli from WMUC Sports. We'll be back in just a moment. bringing you back in the atmosphere here at Xfinity, Maryland, down 11 to Georgetown, 4 minutes into the second half. And Dash, coming into this second half, Georgetown started rolling immediately, an 8-2 run.
Yeah, they did, and you know, it's the three ball that's taken off for them, get their first 2 threes of the game, and now they're in business, and they've got largely they've had in a while.
Pharrell Payne, the only 2 of that 8-2 run points for Maryland, and they both come from the charity stripe, as here's an inbound from Miles Rice. That's Darius Adams, and got it off to Rice. Now back to Adams. Adams on the wing, getting trapped from Abraham of Georgetown. Here's Miles Rice. Tries to drive baseline, knocked off there from KJ Lewis. Rice kicks it out to Coit. Coit, a little pump fake, another pump fake. Off the front of the rim from that three-pointer. Rebounded Lewis. Lewis from Georgetown going to take it right at Miles Rice. That one's missed off the mark. Rebounded Adams. Coit settles this down. He's going to find in the corner there. Looked like Elijah Saunders off that 3. Not going to go. And now Malik Mack for Georgetown, just up top, right past the logo. Mack going to drive on Saunders. Mack going to take it all the way in with the left off the glass. A pretty finish from Malik Mack to bring the lead to 13.
Yeah, it's just a great drive there by Mack, and good job to find that finish for him. Maryland needs to find an answer here.
And Miles Rice shovel passes it off to Diggy Coit, who's going to find Saunders down low. Saunders up and blocked at the rim. That one off Georgetown, going to stay in Maryland's. And now another timeout for Buzz Williams and this Maryland crew. Completely frustrated with what he's seeing from his squad. Not able to get anything going offensively, and just Georgetown able to extend the lead a little bit further.
Yeah, it just feels like right now the Terps don't really have anything going on offense, and Georgetown has got enough in spurts to just keep extending that lead a little bit.
That's exactly right, Dash. As this one's going to be a minute-long timeout, so we'll be back with just some more action in a moment. Stay with us. Back in College Park for some more action, just 5 minutes into the second half. Maryland going to have the baseline inbound. Now here with it is Isaiah Watts. Shoveled off to Miles Rice at the top of the key. Rice going to take on KJ Lewis. Rice going to try and pull up for three. This one off the mark.
And that's the name of the game right now, is shooting struggles for both teams, especially for Maryland, shooting 5 for 30 from the field now.
And here's Malik Mack going to pass it off. It's like KJ Lewis calling for the ISO on Adams. That's on Rice, actually. Kick out here. Caleb Williams going to kill him with another three. Maryland struggling with the second half.
Yeah, and Georgetown is now on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes and change, and this is not the start the Terps needed.
Now here's Pharrell Payne, going to kick it off to Andre Mills. Here's a pass inside from Isaiah Watts, turned over. Now Caleb Williams going all the way, coast to coast, fouled as he goes up for the layup. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, the issue right now is that Maryland, we thought, would regress to the mean after the first half, that their shooting would improve, their offense would find a way, but right now it's the Hoyas who regressed to the mean offensively, not the Terps.
Big struggles for Maryland coming out of the half, down 16 right now, the biggest margin of the game.
Yeah, it feels like the crowd is like still here and still present, but now you got to get them back into it before they start to leave.
Yeah, I'm already seeing some students leaving from the big student section. That was a wall of yellow a minute ago. Maryland going to have to build early if they want to keep these fans engaged.
Yeah, good news is right now it looks like it's just for concessions, but you have to be careful to make sure this doesn't turn into a blowout on your own home court.
Now for the first men's game of the season here in College Park, wouldn't look good. As there's Caleb Williams going to knock both of those through. There's David Coit coming up the road. Coit crosses the Maryland logo at half. Coit looking for the ISO on Lewis. Coit picks up his dribble, and now a costly turnover for the Terps. Just a mishap for George Turkson and David Coit, as Maryland not looking sharp in this first match at home.
It's worth noting that right now, 2/3 of Maryland's points come from two players, Payne and Rice. Outside of that, they've not really been able to get anyone going. And right now, Georgetown just looks longer, they're bigger, and they're stifling Maryland.
Yeah, and just how high they're playing defensively. They have Maryland up at the logo having to turn the ball over when they've already crossed half court. So you can see they're applying the pressure. Here's Jeremiah Williams and KJ Lewis working back and forth. Williams going to kick it to Halafanya, who's going to find Williams again. Williams going to take this one up off the mark. A rebound attempted there from the Hoyas. Kicked out to the corner. Williams again off the back iron. Here's a rebound from Andre Mills in Maryland in transition. Mills trying to get the Terps going. Kicks it off to Saunders, who's going to try and find Farrell Payne inside, and he's going to be fouled on the floor.
And good job by Payne drawing the foul. That's been Maryland's route into this game in the first half. Now they got to start drawing those fouls in the second half. I mean, they've already got Georgetown's front court in foul trouble. Got to keep going back there.
That's right, as we're going to see some subs coming in. Leaving the game is Julius Alafanya. Entering is Iwuchukwu for Georgetown.
Yeah, with that being Halefanua's fourth, now they got to be really careful with him.
Here's Andre Mills going to try and pull up. He drives across the front of the paint, throws that one up, gets fouled as he goes up.
Georgetown foul on KJ Lewis, his third personal, fourth for Andre Mills shooting 2.
Should be Mills' first attempt from the line tonight for Maryland. That one just a brick off the back iron there. Mills going to try for the second. He'll get it.
Yeah, that's a point that Maryland had to have. They needed both of those.
Here we have Williams. Passes it off to Abraham. Abraham going to drive on Pharrell Payne. Kicks it back out to Jeremiah Williams. And now at the top of the key is Iwuchukwu, who's going to find Jeremiah Williams again. Williams finds KJ Lewis. KJ Lewis going to try for a mid-range. Off the mark. Here's a rebound from Maryland Saunders. Kicks it off to David Coit. Coit crosses half court. Coit's going to go up. This time, actually, Coit throws a pump fake in. Gets it back out to Saunders. Here's Coit, about mid-court. There's Pharrell Payne. He's going to kick it out to Andre Mills. Mills trying to work. Mills going to go up on Williams. Not going to get anything but fouled. Actually, looks like that foul might be on Pharrell Payne in the lane. And they're going to give it to Georgetown.
That's sort of unforced area you can't have right now if you're Maryland. The thing is right now, it feels like we've seen the Terps play and hang tight with the Hoyas and shut them down. Right now, they need to find some spark of their own. And it's not clear where that's going to come from.
That's exactly right, Dash. That's the point, is that we've had guys like Miles Rice cook tonight and Pharrell Payne, but he's got most of his points from the line. They haven't been able to find the big man inside. And so now for Maryland, when you're not getting the free throws going, how offensively are you going to get this spark going? So we're going to have to see in the second half as Jeremiah Williams and Georgetown get across half court. There's the graduate student guard out of Illinois. And kicks it off to Caleb Williams. Back to Jeremiah Williams. And finds Iwuchukwu inside for the and one. Georgetown takes an 18-point lead, and they're going to be tacking more on at the line.
I mean, man, they just cut Maryland open that time. It's a great pass.
Here's Iwuchukwu. This one, a prayer from Maryland, kept that one away from the rim, but fans are already starting to shuffle out as Georgetown has taken an 18-point lead with just about a quarter of the game to go. Here's Pharrell Payne going to go up. He's fouled at the rim. Georgetown coach Ed Cooley is doubting that call, but regardless, Payne will go back to the line.
Yeah, and that's just what they needed right there. But still, for Maryland right now, it's not go time yet where you have to panic, but it is time that they need to start making a move here.
We got stars out tonight as well. Scott Van Pelt, the ESPN host, and does what we do at an accelerated and higher level, but needless to say, he is in the audience taking part in this one, as well as Steve Blake, a former Maryland legend and NBA player as well.
Son is on the team.
So, yep, that's exactly right. His son, number 25, Nick Blake, played in Florida. High school, averaged 11 points per game. He is a three-point shooter is his main focus of his game, and does very well at that. As Pharrell Payne has taken the heart out of the stadium, missing both those free throws, and before that he was 100% from the line. Dash. Struggles for Maryland seem to continue.
And he's the guy who they really need to count on right now to get going. Right now he's their best weapon back into this. Georgetown's front court is already in foul trouble. You wonder what the depth is going to be like if he can really test them. And at the moment there, you don't need him missing free throws.
As a drive in there for KJ Lewis. He tried to reverse layup, and he was fouled, but he missed the lay. He'll go to the line.
I mean, the flip side of this is, as disappointing as it's been for Maryland so far, this is a statement for Georgetown. This is a team where we had a feeling they might be improved this year. Apparently played really well against Kentucky in a preseason scrimmage, but if they get a result like this, this doesn't mean that Maryland's a disastrous team. It just means that Georgetown might be a very, very good one.
It's an extremely good point as well. They have 0 freshmen on this Hoyas team, and 0 true freshmen. A couple transfers, but 10 of these players have returned since last season. So that's definitely a good point, Dash, is that this is a completely new Maryland squad. From almost top to bottom, we've seen a complete restructuring of this Terrapins team. And for Georgetown, it could just say more about them than it does about the Terps this early in the season.
Yeah, Maryland's also low on bodies, has some injuries. And with the Terps now down by 20, I mean, you have to take that into account.
A 20-point margin in this one. David Coit going to try and get something going for Maryland, but at a certain point may get too late. Miles Rice going to try. Here's Darius Adams. Now down to Pharrell Payne. David Coit. Coit, shifty work up top. Coit, a step back three. Coit, got it! Put some life back into the Maryland fans. Coit sets the first three of the second half.
He needed that. They needed that, and that was maybe the most shifty play we've seen from anyone so far.
As we'll have another timeout here.
Payne's now in foul trouble as well. Payne and Saunders both have 3 fouls for Maryland. So both teams' front courts are in trouble.
Front court issues, but Maryland able to get their first 3 of the second half. We'll be back here in just a moment as Maryland has cut the lead to 17, but Georgetown is still in the driver's seat. Be back in a second. Welcome back to College Park, where the students are still live and active here at the Xfinity Center for the first home game of the season for the men's basketball team. I'm James Consoli alongside Dash Tischler, and we have an update from the sidelines from Jack Zwirn. Jack.
Yeah, thank you, James. It's been a very emotional game on the sidelines for both coaches. Georgetown head coach Ed Cooley, a lot of positive emotion. On the flip side, it's been Buzz Williams really annoyed with how poorly the team has played. Terps trailing by 17 right now, and the last time the Terps erased a 17-point deficit to win was at Minnesota in February of 2020. But the point about that is the 17-point deficit was still in the first half. The Terps do not have that much time left, only 11:27 remaining on the clock to eliminate this big lead for the Hoyas. Back to you, James.
Thank you, Jack. That's exactly right as well. David Coit hitting the last 3 for Maryland, the first of the second half, trying to breathe some life back into this Terrapin squad. It's a young, new team here, complete restructuring from top to bottom. So, Dash Tischler, what are we expecting over these last couple minutes, or what does Maryland need to do?
They need to get something going on offense, because right now they're not shooting. They're still at 19% shooting from the game. That has to improve. And the other thing is that the last time the Terps came back from down 20 was when they managed to beat NC State in the ACC tournament back in 2004. That is a streak which it shows you it's hard to do, especially when you're playing a team like Georgetown who's in full flow. So Maryland has to start finding a way to work the ball inside, drive in the paint, see if they can force these Georgetown bigs deeper into foul trouble, and then just use that as a platform to maybe start getting some more open looks from 3.
Thank you, Dash, as we see Maryland's field goal percentage is below 20%, whereas Georgetown is above 40%, so just completely doubling them in nearly every statistical category. Georgetown's even been more efficient from 3, which was not the same case in the first half. So a miss there off the free throw from Georgetown gives Maryland and David Coit something to work with. Here's Darius Adams working. Darius Adams baseline jumper off the mark. Adams rebounds it himself. Settles things down, picks up his dribble. Pharrell Payne going to try and work inside. Payne takes it up and under. This one off the mark. Tipped in from Elijah Saunders, and Maryland takes it within 15 points.
Right now that 5-0 mini run is about as good as it's gotten for Maryland's offense in the second half. We'll see if this can give them the platform they need to build back into the game.
And that's what happens. You have a big man like Pharrell Payne crashing the boards. and you need to have as many people crowding that box as possible. Saunders able to tip it in there. As KJ Lewis from Georgetown, jab step, drives in, picks up his dribble, tries a pull-up jumper at the buzzer. Not going to go. Rebound from Pharrell Payne. Dished off to David Coit. Coit crosses half court. Coit, a screen from Pharrell Payne. Coit going to take it up with the left, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line. Coit trying to bring the energy.
This is what Maryland needs. You can see Coit is that guy right now. He's providing that spark. You can see him. You can also see Adams really working hard at it. That's what you need from your guys. You need somebody to be like, okay, we're down, we're in trouble. I'm going to try and take over the game here. Because even if you don't take over the game, putting that sort of energy into it helps lift your team, and it helps stress the opponent.
Just over a quarter of the game left, 10 minutes and 15 seconds as David Coit is at the line. He sinks the first, brings it within 14.
It's interesting. It's Coit shoots a second. That'll go. With a 13-point deficit now, Georgetown's now brought in Halifanua, who's on 4 fouls, so that would seem to be a sign that Ed Cooley sees this Maryland run as a threat and wants to stop it now.
Still over 50% of Maryland's points come from the free throw line. As Jeremiah Williams dishes it off to Deshaun Harris-Smith, who kicks it back out. That one's off the mark for Halafania. Maryland in transition. Here's Darius Adams. Adams going to try and find some Maryland body inside. He dishes it to nobody. Jeremiah Williams in transition, takes it right up. Poked away from Maryland. And this time, inside is Deshaun Harris-Smith, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, just a weird passage of play right there. First of all, Halifanua was perfectly schemed open. Nobody from Maryland noticed him, and the play design was great, but then he misses. And then the other end, Adams makes a great run, but then just rushes a pass for no reason and turns the ball back over.
And so now Deshaun Harris-Smith, the former Terp, at the line, and Maryland fans are making their voices heard. Harris sinks the first free throw. Harris-Smith played for Maryland for 2 years, averaging 22 minutes per game. In 24, he was the Big Ten All-Freshman team selection. As he'll miss the second. Rebounded from Maryland, Miles Rice. Shovels it off to David Coit. Coit at half court. Coit with a smooth crossover. Coit driving in, throws it high off the glass. Not going to go. Rebound. Georgetown, Caleb Williams. Jeremiah Williams crosses half court, dishes it off to Malik Mack. That one's off the front iron, rebounded from Rice. Rice crossing half court. Rice with a tight handle, keeps that ball on a string. Gonna take it in. Looks like maybe a foul on the floor dash. Did you see anything there?
Yeah, and I have to see the replay of that because I think it did seem like there might have been contact, but.
Looks like when Miles Rice was going up, they caught Jeremiah Williams for a foul, and that one might be why he's going to the line. Now double technicals have been issued. One to Jeremiah Williams, one to Miles Rice, and players from both squads are still chirping at each other.
Unclear why they've issued the technicals there because nothing too out of the ordinary.
It's Miles Rice and Deshaun Harris-Smith who are awarded both technicals. The former Terp getting into it, and now the fans are into it as well. Some clear frustrations coming out.
Yeah. You got to feel for Harris-Smith. Fans give him a hard time of it. Definitely a disappointing career in Maryland, but really the fan response is pretty shocking. His mom reported that he'd received death threats for his play, and just not how you want to see his homecoming go for the fans to be on him again.
Here's Miles Rice at the line, able to sink the first. A double technical didn't do much except give each player a technical. Usually it awards a possession and some free throws, but In this case, it's just going to give exactly what was before, and that was Miles Rice at the line for 2. He'll sink both.
So for Maryland, they're doing a good job here. Right when it looked like they were hitting rock bottom, they responded with a 9-1 run.
Here's Jeremiah Williams at the top of the key. Coit defending. Now Caleb Williams gets it off to Malik Mack. Mack doubled from Maryland. Kicked out here. Looks like that was Caleb Williams on that last shot. Not going to go. This one awarded to Maryland.
Yeah, but Maryland got to be careful because that's now a couple of wide open looks that the Hoyas have missed. Maryland's got to close down those shooters. You can't keep expecting them to miss them.
And here's David Coit. Maryland able to actually bring the margin within 12 points. This is the closest it's been since Georgetown went on a massive run. Here's Andre Mills, gets it off to Pharrell Payne. David Coit pulls up, blocked. In transition now is Georgetown. Blocked at the rim there from Miles Rice, but he's called for a foul. Miles Rice gets back on defense after Maryland was blocked and says, I'll give it right back to you. Goes up and swats Jeremiah Williams at the rim.
And that's going to be Rice's 4th.
Which seemingly is all ball, but they called Rice on his 4th foul on that.
And also, there probably should have been a foul on the play before that, too.
It looks like they got Rice's left hand there grappling at Jeremiah Williams' arm. So they're going to give this one should stand, Dash.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Maryland fans, if Rice didn't grab that arm with the swat, then it would be not called back. But it'll be 2 shots for Jeremiah Williams at the line.
Where they should really have a complaint is on the play to get out that lob. It looked like there was a foul in the initial contact for Georgetown's defensive effort.
Yeah, unfortunate reality for our Terps fans. It would have built the team a lot of momentum, you could say, but for now, Jeremiah Williams is at the free throw line trying to tack on 2 more and bring this lead to 14 points. Williams sinks the first. And we'll see some sub action. Looks like Isaiah Watts is coming in, and Miles Rice with 4 fouls is coming out.
Yeah, now you got to be careful because you're going to need him down the stretch, but you cannot have him foul out early.
Here's David Coit. Jeremiah Williams guarding. Coit gets it off to Pharrell Payne. Back out to Coit, who's got Elijah Saunders setting a screen. Now off to Saunders. Who's going to find Watts. Saunders in the low post with 5 seconds to go. Saunders takes it up. Saunders tries to get his own rebound. He will. Saunders going to go up again. Fouled. Not going to get it to go.
Yeah, just a bit frustrating for Maryland right there because that's a few chances that Saunders had. Hasn't converted yet.
And it looks like we're going to see another timeout. I believe this one's from Maryland. Either way, the Terps down 14, trying to climb back with a little under 8 minutes to go. We'll be back on the broadcast in just a moment. Stay with us. Bringing action back to you from College Park, Maryland, as the visiting Georgetown Hoyas are up 14 on the Maryland Terrapins men's basketball team. Alongside Dash Tischler and Jack Zwirn, I'm James Consoli, and we're actually going to go to Jack for an update on what the scoring looks like over the last couple of minutes. Jack?
Yeah, thank you, James. Neither squad has scored a field goal in the last 3 minutes, and actually for Georgetown, it's been even longer than that, 4 minutes and 30 seconds since they've scored a field goal. This has been a very back-and-forth game defensively, but a lot of offensive miscues by both squads. Ball mishandling, fouls all over the place. There's been so many free throws in this game, I've lost count. There's been a lot of fouls, both sides in the bonus already, still 8 minutes to play in regulation. We'll see if the Terps are able to complete the comeback. It's been unlikely. It's been a while since they've completed a comeback of this size. But can Georgetown hang on the Terps' Gold Rush night? Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jack. If you're joining us back, we're on WMUC Sports Radio. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to this edition of Maryland men's basketball versus the Georgetown Hoyas, coming into town and seemingly dominating Dash Tischler.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job, although when you look beneath the hood, they've really only had those 2 big runs to open each half. Otherwise, it's been a fairly even game, and Maryland's maybe even been slightly more successful. The issue's been the Terps have not been able to get any sort of run that will really boost them, other than the one they've been on right now, to get it back from down 20, and at that point, they were already in a big hole.
Both teams shooting pretty bad from the field, with Georgetown shooting 37% and Maryland below 20% still, but they're going to tack on that free throw from Elijah Saunders.
Yeah, I mean, the terrifying part of it as well is that Maryland's not shooting better from 2 than they are from 3.
And here's KJ Lewis, going to go coast to coast and has no pressure the whole way as he'll get the deuce. David Coit going to get it off to Pharrell Payne. Who's going to kick it out here is Andre Mills. Going to get a 3. Mills trying to give Maryland some momentum.
Yeah, they needed that. Right when it felt like their run was starting to end. And, I mean, 12 points is very much a deficit you can come back from.
And here inside, Georgetown just working every part of the board. It's Caleb Williams with the dunk. David Coit going to drive in. Kicks it out here. It's Isaiah Watts. Watts finds Pharrell Payne. Watts back up top. Just can't get it to go. Georgetown in transition. It's Malik Mack. Malik Mack going to pull up from the elbow. This one's short. Pharrell Payne. Here's David Coit. Pull-up jumper. He's got it. Maryland within 12 as another timeout's called. And there's a Maryland player at half court, seemingly in pain.
It's Payne.
And it is Pharrell Payne, who's been so strong today for this Maryland squad. He's got 10 points and almost not a double-double. He's got 9 rebounds. Payne with 6 of those being defensive rebounds. So great work on the glass from this forward. He's a senior, and this is his first game as a Terp versus Coppin State earlier this season. It was 21 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, had no trouble. Spent his first 2 years at college at Minnesota, then Texas A&M, and finally ended up in Maryland this year. So as we are coming out of the break here, just a quick 30-second timeout. And now Georgetown bringing out the same lineup as before. Nothing changed too drastically, but Maryland trying to keep things close. They haven't really gotten down to a single-digit margin since the beginning of that second half, I believe, for a moment there. But after some crazy back-to-back threes, the distance just seems so far-fetched. As now KJ Lewis gets across half court, working with Caleb Williams and Malik Mack. Malik Mack passes it off to Halafonia, who gets it back. Here's KJ Lewis off the glass. Rebound and missed. Maryland has it. David Coit crosses half court. Pharrell Payne sends a screen. Coit going to try with a runner. Kicks it out here to Watts. Isaiah Watts struggled on an island, back out to Coit. A pump fake from three. Coit finds an open one. Here's a three from Watts off the mark. But Watts fighting inside, trying to vie for the rebound. And a foul was called. Looks like this one might be on Saunders from Maryland.
Yeah, that's going to be frustrating for the Terps. That's a great chance for Watts.
Maryland fouled Isaiah Watts. His fourth personal.
And Watts is also in serious foul trouble now with 4, and Georgetown's in the bonus.
Not a good sign for Maryland. They're going to have to keep their hands off these Georgetown players for the remainder of the game. And now Miles Rice going to half court to sub in. After the first free throw, which is made by KJ Lewis, Miles Rice will sub in for David Coit, who will get a moment of breather. Coit has really been the spark in this second half for Maryland, which has not gotten them back into the game, but kept them within uncomfortable territory. As the second free throw's missed, a rebound for Maryland. Pharrell Payne with his 10th rebound of tonight, and he will have a double-double for Maryland. Pharrell Payne got it for Miles Rice. Pharrell Payne goes up and gets the and one. Payne with a double-double, bringing the energy for the Terps, says we're not giving up just yet.
And I think that's going to be the end of the day for Halifanua. And it is. Ooh, Payne leading into him with the elbow, though.
And not much Halifanua could do there, but that one's going to send him out. And the right and left chance have happened from inside College Park, Xfinity.
Yeah. Both teams are in double bonus right now, and that's somehow the first foul we've had. It does feel like we were going to have one in this game.
As now Maryland's Pharrell Payne going to try and convert from the line. And now with California fouling out, Maryland trying to build some momentum, down 10 with 5 minutes to go. Malik Mack gets across half court. KJ Lewis going to try and fight in. Turned over there. Miles Rice going to take it up. Miles Rice gets the lay. Maryland's within single digits as the Terps are fighting back in this second half. And something about that number 2 number is special for College Park. And guys like Mello Trimble come in here and rock that number. Guys like Wiggins and Dash Tischler. Things have changed a lot inside Xfinity's atmosphere.
They sure have. I mean, from down 20 to down 8 is a pretty big jump, and it's been slow and steady, but it could yet win them the race.
And so with this, we will stay on the call as Maryland has brought it to single digits, and the rebound battle has actually been really close for both teams, even though, you know, there's some size differences for Georgetown. They have 2 7-footers. Maryland doesn't have one. And the rebound differential, Georgetown has 36, Maryland with 34. Georgetown has slightly more points off turnovers, a lot more steals defensively, and a lot more assists. Lowest of Maryland's points, a lot of them coming from the free throw line, 24 of their 50. This is actually the first time in a while that they have less than 50% of their points coming from the free throw line tonight.
Pretty remarkable because they really rode the free throws in the first half, but second half, obviously, Georgetown's been a lot more disciplined with their fouling. Well, not so much worse. They're still in double bonus, but it hasn't been as early in the half, and Maryland with less opportunities to convert from the line.
And now the fans back on their feet in College Park. There was a pretty slow slump there for a while. Maryland trying to ride this momentum wave. We'll see if they can convert here in the last 5.5.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, definitely a grandstand finale now. You got to be careful, though. Maryland's got to just keep it moving. They've done a good job shutting down Georgetown as the half has gone along, but they got to stay locked in. and be cognizant of their guys who are in foul trouble.
And Dash, not too often do you get a moment this early in the season to make your mark in a Maryland uniform. Tonight, a lot of these fresh new Terps get that opportunity.
Yeah.
As inbounded here to Jeremiah Williams for Georgetown. The crowd is loud if you hear them in the background. Williams crosses half court. 5.5 to go in this one. Williams trying to dribble out a good portion of the shot clock, keeping this lead. KJ Lewis for Georgetown. Now Caleb Williams dribbling across the top of the key. Here's Jeremiah Williams. Williams outside the three-point land still. KJ Lewis with a wide open three. Big one there. Takes the heart out of the Maryland crowd. Says calm down. This one is still way out of reach. Brings the lead to 11.
It's far from over, though. You get a three back, and you're right where you were before.
Here's Miles Rice driving inside for Maryland. Rice, a pull-up. Gonna get it. Beautiful two there from number 2. And here's another three in the corner from Jeremiah Williams off the mark. Rebound here. Isaiah Watts gets it. Gets it off to Rice. Rice crosses half court. Rice gonna drive in. Rice off the glass, and he's got it! Rice with a big layup. Number 2 is bringing the energy out to College Park tonight.
I can't believe there wasn't a foul call on that. There was so much contact. I think Rice should have had an and one there.
Now Maryland within 7. As Caleb Williams from Georgetown takes that dunk home. Still 9 points away for the Terps.
The problem right now is the game's opening up. Maryland needs to get a stop.
And defense has been a problem so far tonight. It's been a lot of misses from both squads as Pharrell Payne's going to take this one up. Not going to get the and one, but he'll be sent back to the line. So far, Payne is 9 of 11 from the stripe, but looks like we're going to get another timeout with 3:33 to go. 3 minutes left in this one. We'll be back in just a moment on WMUC Sports Radio. The atmosphere in College Park is trying to stay alive as Maryland has just been moving with some momentum late in the second half, but they've brought the lead to 9 for Georgetown. Georgetown up 9, but we have a hit from my sideline reporter, Jack Zwirn. Jack, what do you have for us?
Yeah, thank you, James. This has been a game of milestones for players on both sides. Each squad has seen 2 players reach point milestones tonight. For the Terps, Miles Rice reached 850 and Pharrell Payne made it to 950. Both players are on pace to make it to 1,000 career points this season. For the Hoyas, Malik Mack made his 850th career point, while Vince Iwuchukwu also reached the 350 mark. It's been a game of milestones, but can the Terps complete the comeback is the real question. Back to you, James.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. And yeah, just a couple more minutes, and Miles Rice, one of those milestone players on the court, trying to tell the student section that there's a lot of life left in this Maryland squad. So, Dash Tischler, will we see this Maryland try and mount a comeback late?
I mean, they're definitely trying. They've done a good job of it so far. They didn't give up on themselves, and they've started to find the most offensive success they've had all game in these last few minutes. For the last 4 from the field.
Pharrell Payne able to come out of the timeout and convert on the first free throw. This will bring it within 8.
The big thing now is to get a stop, because Maryland's been doing a good job putting the pressure on Georgetown, but they haven't gotten that big stop right now to really change the direction.
Pharrell Payne able to scoop both those free throws through. And he's trying to hype up his crew. And Georgetown just going to get across half court. Malik Mack at the logo for Georgetown. Malik Mack drives in, takes it up, but it's missed. A rebound from Mack. He gets his own shot. He's got it from outside. Mack going to pull up for 3, and he swishes it home. Malik Mack trying to put this one out of arm's reach as the lead goes back to 10.
That's the issue. Maryland's so close to getting that stop right there, but then Mack's able to convert.
Here's Miles Rice going up, and not going to get called for a foul as he drives in. That one off his foot, goes out of bounds. Georgetown possession with under 3 to go.
Yeah, it looks like Iwuchukwu might have actually gotten his foot stepped on, because he's walking pretty awkwardly right now.
Here's Malik Mack and Jeremiah Williams crossing half court. Now KJ Lewis has it. Back to Malik Mack at the logo. Now they're just ticking clock away. Mack hit a big 3 in response to his miss 2 a second ago that put this lead back into double digits. And Mack gonna pull up again from 3. This one off the mark. Rebound here. It's Isaiah Watts in Maryland. Watts gets it to Miles Rice. Rice gonna drive in. Rice goes up again. Tries for the layup. No foul called. Rice missed. Gets back on D now as Georgetown almost under 2 minutes left in this one. It's Caleb Williams at the top. Gets it off to Malik Mack, who's been ISOing all night. Andre Mills on him. Now gets it off to, here's a turnover from Mack. That one Georgetown has in the backcourt, and the shot clock runs out, so they actually were able to waste time effectively, Dash, but unable to get the ball back. This will be Maryland's ball with 1:50 remaining.
Yeah, that was lucky for Georgetown, because as soon as the ball went skidding away, Mack had to hustle and get to it before Maryland did, or else he's going to be in world trouble. And the time does tick off, but now Maryland has a short possession coming up potentially. The ball in their own attacking half of the court, and now's the time, I think, where you really got to hit this next shot and then think about fouling.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick 3 here, and now then you send him to 1-1 from the line if you can get the foul off quickly.
Or I guess see if you can get a stop, see if you can get down to 4 by a minute. That's your magic number. Get it to within 4 with a minute to go. So they got 50 seconds to make up 6 points.
And that they will try, but from the from 3-pointers tonight, they're just above 20%. Struggling is Maryland as they go up for the rim, not going to get much. As Pharrell Payne is fouled, but he had David Coyd up top. Could not see him from out there as he's fighting through arms in the paint, Dash, but yeah, he's going to go back to the line for 2.
And for Maryland, that's fine. Just keep building up those fouls. It stops the clock, gives you a chance to get a couple more points. But now every free throw is critical.
But for Maryland, just across the board, have been dominated in almost any statistical category you can get. It'd be an upset if the Terps were able to take it tonight. But currently, 26 field goal percentage, and for Georgetown, they're at 40 still. Maryland has struggled from 3 tonight, just shooting above 20%. Georgetown's at 25, so that makes the difference in a game like this. That's Burl Payne able to sink both those and bring it to within 8 points. And now Maryland, like you said, they don't have to think about fouling maybe just yet, but Georgetown able to get it across half court in enough time.
Yeah, Maryland just has to get a stop here. This is a critical possession.
Here's Jeremiah Williams going to try and take it in on Miles Rice. Rice trying to stand his ground. KJ Lewis takes it up, and he's called for a foul there as Maryland player, looks like Isaiah Watts, called for that reach in.
Yeah, that's not what you needed right there, because down 8, minute 19 to go, you give up these free throws, and if he converts, it's now a double-digit game again.
KJ Lewis shooting 2.
And he sinks the first, no problem. Lewis at the line.
Blake returns for the Terps.
Lead at 9 points for the Hoyas with a minute and 20 to go in this one. He misses the second, so it's still 9 points. Maryland going to have to get it across half court swiftly and then try a 3. Here's a 3 outside from Coit, unable to convert. Miles Rice has it. Rice going to have to make a move quick.
1 minute remaining.
A shove there. Looks like Jeremiah Williams called on the foul. And that big 3 from Coit could have maybe had the last spark. Dash this one. A minute left to go. It's not over yet, but Maryland going to have to group something together.
Yeah, I mean, now they're going to need to execute perfectly and get a helping of luck from the Hoyas. So we'll see how that plays out.
Rice lucky on that last attempt that he was fouled because he went to the floor and there was a little bit of contact, but Jeremiah Williams fouling out. This is the second Hoya to foul out this game. And Williams messing with the fans who are calling out left-right as he goes to the bench. And we're going to get another timeout with just a minute to go. Looks like Georgetown on that timeout, just trying to regroup and stay locked in for this last minute. Make sure that their guys have energy. As we are going to be back in just a moment with a minute left exactly in this one. Georgetown up by 9. Back in College Park as Miles Rice is at the stripe, and he's going to convert on the first. Rice now with 18 points for Maryland.
12 Isaiah Watts returns for the Terps.
Rice converts on the second, 19 for him. Brings this game within 7 points. A minute left remaining in this contest between the Georgetown Hoyas and the Maryland men's basketball team here in College Park. Georgetown going to try and inbound here. They're able to not get it in yet, but now get it into Malik Mack from the Hoyas, who's going to try and get across half court. Gets it across to Caleb Williams, and he's going to be fouled. Williams will go to the line.
think that'll be Watts' day right there. It will be. That's his 5th.
As now Maryland's first player has fouled out.
His 4th personal.
Well, that's actually Saunders' 4th foul, not Watts. Watts had 4 before, but they called the foul on Saunders.
Interesting.
And this is a freshly new Maryland squad. In case you don't know, a lot of new players in here for the Terps that were not here last season, whereas Georgetown is a more established squad with 10 returners. Maryland does not have that same luxury.
Yeah, only returner for the Terps is Lucas Sotelo, walk-on, who hasn't played tonight.
With the departure of head coach Kevin Willard last year and a lot of graduating Terrapins, this is not the same Maryland squad that people are used to, as Miles Rice is going to try and take it all the way in, and he's going to get swatted as things come to a close here in College Park. About 42 seconds left in this one, and it looks like KJ Lewis is going to go to the free throw line to cap this one off for the Hoyas. A big, big win for Georgetown coming into College Park. This one will seemingly be, as the Hoyas fans are on their feet for the first time in a while, Dash, because they haven't won in College Park in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams haven't played in quite some time, and certainly when they last played, Maryland was the program on the up, but this time it feels like Georgetown a bit farther along in their rebuild, and this is a team who will be making some noise this year, potentially in the Big East.
Absolutely. Obviously didn't finish where they wanted to be in the Big East last year, but this team has played pretty well tonight, a lot better than the Terrapins did across the board at least. And for some of their scoring leaders, we have Malik Mack with 19 points. He was 33% from outside tonight, 6 for 6 at the line, 7 rebounds for Mack. Following him was KJ Lewis with 15 points, 4 for 6 from the line. Lewis also tacked on 9 rebounds. And after him, another double-digit scorer, Caleb Williams, not to be confused with the Bears quarterback. 14 points and 10 rebounds. He was one of the only players with a double-double. And so on Maryland's side of things, Pharrell Payne with 17 points and 11 rebounds, their only player with a double-double tonight. Payne was great on both sides of the court, though percentage-wise offensively sort of struggled tonight. Great from the free throw line. He had 15 attempts. He made 13 of those. Miles Rice with 19 points, the leading scorer for Maryland tonight. 10 for 10 from the charity stripe at the free throw line. 4 for 9 from the field goal percentage. He was less than 50%. For the rest of Maryland, David Coit, 10 points, but struggled from the field tonight, especially from outside. 2 for 9 from 3. So Maryland in sort of a rebuild with a lot of new players coming in, and Georgetown with a more established line is going to end up taking this one tonight. We have 40 seconds left in the match. Not saying it's over yet, but Georgetown at the line for 2 more to bring this lead back to double digits. And KJ Lewis able to make the first. This will bring it back to a 10-point lead for the Hoyas. And Lewis misses the second. It's 10-point lead for the Hoyas as Miles Rice is going to try and get it across half court. He's able to. He finds Saunders, who's going to find up top. It's Darius Adams off the mark there.
Yeah, that kind of sums up the night.
That sort of completes tonight in College Park. Hoyas fans on their feet as well as their bench. Malik Mack dribbles it out for Georgetown as they will take this one, their first away match of the year and their first win on the road. Maryland will take its first match at home as a loss versus Georgetown, the first time these two teams have played in 10 years. Georgetown won the last matchup in 2015. Maryland won the last matchup in 2015. And Georgetown is going to win this one, trying to rewrite history with a 10-point lead tonight from Xfinity Center. 70-60 was the final result for the Hoyas. They will try and ride this momentum and bring it into their next matchups as the Hoyas will head back home at Capital One Arena on Wednesday to face the Binghamton Bearcats. And for Maryland, the Terps going to try and bounce back from this one and have a lot of work to do with this new team and head coach Buzz Williams. On Tuesday in College Park here at the Xfinity Center, they'll play Alcorn State. We'd like to thank you for tuning in into this edition of WMUC Sports Radio. For Jack Zwirn, for Dash Tischler, and for everybody else at home, all the viewers tuning in, we'd like to appreciate you for spending your Friday night with us. Peace out from College Park. We'll see you next time on WMUC Sports Radio. I'm James Consoli saying good night.